Alright, what's going on everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got another NBA 2020 draft discussion video to go over with you guys. This time actually revolving around the Chicago Bulls and who I think they should be looking to draft with that 4th overall pick that they do have, or should they actually be looking to try and trade it. So again, I will be going through a couple of options, and of course I would really like to hear your thoughts and opinions on this all down below. So definitely don't forget to comment in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts and opinions on these players that I am talking about, and what is your selections on who you guys think the Chicago Bulls should be looking to draft? So I think the first preference and the most important player they should be looking to try and draft in this draft, and again, who's in my opinion the best player, or maybe not necessarily the best, but the one with the most potential. With the 4th overall pick, I think the Chicago Bulls should be looking to draft Lamelo Ball. Now, it's not necessarily going to be a guarantee that he will be on the board at this time. Again, any team could really take him. I think what would most likely happen is I think the Timberwolves are going to be taking Anthony Edwards, the Warriors would take Wiseman, and I think the Hornets would look to maybe take Obi Toppin. Those are going to be the 3 players that I think those teams need, which would leave Lamelo Ball still on the board for the Chicago Bulls to potentially draft with the 4th overall pick. And I think this would be an exceptional selection by them, and it would make literally so much sense for them to actually go ahead and pull this trigger, and it literally makes up for a lot of issues that they currently have right now on the Bulls. For example, the Bulls are kind of going about this way where they're kind of playing sort of Chris Dunn, Thomas Satoransky, and Zach LaVine all in the starting lineup, and Zach LaVine's kind of had to play a little bit of that small forward type of role this whole season. I desperately feel like they need to go out and sign a small forward. A player that could be, up for grabs is Derrick Jones Jr. There's been a lot of rumors that the Cavs are actually the front runners to potentially sign him, but I think he would be absolutely perfect to kind of be, added into the Chicago Bulls team, especially because they really need defense. And a thing that kind of works well for me is Lamelo Ball is a great defender at that point guard position. Now, you might be like, what? Well, hold on a second. The Chicago Bulls already have a point guard, and that's Coby White, who they actually took in the previous year's draft. They also do have Chris Dunn, so why would they need Lamelo Ball? Shouldn't they go after a forward, especially considering they've had to play Zach LaVine at small forward? And my answer to that is kind of yes and no. No, kind of in the way that Chris Dunn, he's just not going to do it as a starting point guard. It's pretty clear to me that he needs to be a backup point guard. Also on that fact that he has rumors that he potentially might want to go to a different team in the offseason, whether he's going to request a trade or potentially look to try and sign with another team and hope the Bulls don't match the offer. Because I believe he will be a restricted free agent. But the issue that I do have as well is I'm not really sold on Coby White, on who's better out of Coby White and Darius Garland. And, I just want to say I am a Cavs fan, but I'm not being biased here at all by saying this. Again, Coby White is better than Garland right now, but I do believe that Garland will have a way better potential in the NBA. Whether that's going to be on the Cavs or not, I still think he's going to have a lot of potential to be the way better player. And I think a lot of people can see that Coby White, I just don't see him being a starting point guard in today's NBA. I feel like he kind of works better as a shooting guard. He isn't exactly under height either to play that shooting guard. He is 193 centimeters, aka 6'3". So he'll be about, right on that height. I feel like shooting guards are about 6'3" to 6'5" now, or even 6'2" to 6'5". They do, vary on how it's all kind of going now in the NBA. But I just feel like Coby White, he's not a great playmaker at all, and he is a really nice defender, and I just feel like if he played backup shooting guard with Chris Dunn being the backup point guard, it would just make a lot of sense in my opinion, and he could still get a decent amount of minutes. He played 25 minutes per game this season. I feel like that could be a pretty similar kind of thing next season, could even be a little bit more, but I just feel like he's not going to be a starting point guard for the Chicago Bulls, especially if they're drafting Lamelo Ball, and I just think that makes the most amount of sense. Lamelo Ball would kind of help out with that defensive issue if they can bring in Derrick Jones and Lamelo Ball. You bring in Lamelo Ball, who will be an average defender at point guard when he gets into the NBA, but will definitely develop into a very good defender, you would think, at point guard, just like his brother did. And then let's just say in a couple of years, you got him being an above average defender at point guard. Then you've got Zach LaVine, who's an okay defender. Not exactly too much to talk about him. Again, he's just inconsistent, really. And then if they get Derrick Jones Jr., then they will have another really nice defensive small forward. And then you compare, you got 2 out of those 3 players that will be above average defenders, and Zach LaVine, who's just okay. And you compare that to what they've got this season, which is Chris Dunn at point guard, who has been pretty inconsistent sometimes with the scoring, but has been a pretty good defender. Satoransky can be very inconsistent as well, sometimes as well. And Zach LaVine is just not a good enough defender to be guarding that small forward position. You compare that to what they could potentially have with Lamelo Ball, then I think, yeah, you would way rather the Lamelo Ball type of situation as well. So, in my opinion, that's just how I see it. I definitely feel like Lamelo Ball would be their #1 preference. And I feel like a lot of people do agree with me as well. It just makes a lot of sense for them to go out and draft Lamelo Ball with that 4th overall pick. Now, if they can't get Lamelo Ball and he's off the board, I feel like they could look at Obi Toppin, considering Lauri Markkanen didn't really like it at the Bulls this season. It was a rumor he actually might be requesting a trade. I think because Boylan's fired now, that Markkanen will stay, so I don't necessarily know if Toppin would be the greatest move. But, if Markkanen does stay and they can't get Lamelo Ball, then I actually believe Deni Avdija, as much as it kind of hurts me to say this, because I kind of want Avdija to be drafted by the Cavs. But again, I think if Avdija is on the board and Lamelo is not on it, it would make a lot of sense for them to kind of go and draft him, as he would fit very well with them as well. He is a very good defender at that small forward position. Again, he has shown a little bit. He is a very he can be an inconsistent shooter. He's got a decent 3-point range. I haven't seen much of his mid-range. He's a very nice slasher, and again, he is a good defender as well. He can cut into the paint. Very, very good, and he's a great playmaker. I really do like Deni Avdija, and as I said, I would like to really see him drafted by the Cavs, but I think he would work really well to kind of see him on the Chicago Bulls team. So if they can't get Lamelo Ball, then they could, just say, well, we're going to see how Kobe White can go at our starting point guard. We really haven't given him a go, so let's just see how this experiment can kind of work out. So yeah, let's just say they do that. Lamelo Ball is not on the team. They'd have Kobe White as their starting point guard, Zach LaVine as the starting shooting guard, and Lauri Markkanen, Deni Avdija as their starting small forward. Then that defense would actually be pretty top notch as well. I mean, Kobe White's a good defender for his height and at point guard, and then again, Deni Avdija has shown that he can be a very good defender at small forward as well. So again, I do kind of like that move by the Chicago Bulls, but I just feel like they need a player like Lamelo Ball. They haven't had a star in years. I mean, Jimmy Butler was their last star, and we all know how that ended up. It didn't go too well, and now Butler's kind of killing it right now on the Miami Heat. But yeah, they haven't had a star in many years, and I do like how Zach LaVine's going about it. But if, after a couple years, I definitely believe Lamelo Ball could actually potentially develop into a star for the Chicago Bulls. And he'd really have, a lot of it. Again, he'd have some really nice players to pass to. And his shooting is not going to be that great in his first season. I think his defense might not be the greatest either. But it's going to take him a couple of years to develop. We're still seeing how Lonzo Ball's developing in this league. So again, it will take time. But I definitely feel like Lamelo Ball should be the player that the Chicago Bulls do look to draft at that 4th overall pick. But anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for the latest NBA news and NBA content, and just sports related content in general. Don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/vlogging channels as well if you haven't already. Links for them will all be in the description down below. But as I was saying, don't forget to check out my podcast as well if you haven't already, where I talk about all the latest sports related content on there as well. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment your thoughts and opinions. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.